the Eastern question was a big problem in Europe in the 19th century. It was about what would happen to the Ottoman Empire, which was getting weaker. The Ottoman Empire was very large and covered a lot of land in Southeast Europe. Over time, many different groups of people lived in the Ottoman Empire. These included Serbs, Greeks, Bulgarians, and Romanians. They all wanted to have their own countries and be free from Ottoman rule. The Ottoman Empire was losing its grip on the Balkans. This region was strategically important as it connected Europe to Asia. Many European powers had interests in the region. Russia, for instance, saw itself as a protector of Slavic people, including the Serbs. Austria-Hungary, on the other hand, feared the rise of nationalism within its own borders and sought to maintain stability in the region. As the Ottoman Empire weakened, the desire for independence grew stronger among the Balkan people. They wanted the right to rule themselves and preserve their cultures and identities. This desire for self-determination led to uprisings and calls for reforms within the Ottoman Empire. However, the Ottoman response was often brutal, leading to further unrest and international attention. In 1875, a rebellion broke out in Bosnia and Herzegovina. These provinces were home to many Serbs who shared cultural and religious ties with Serbia. The uprising was sparked by Ottoman misrule and heavy taxation. The rebels, supported by volunteers from Serbia and Montenegro, fought for liberation from Ottoman control. The uprising in Bosnia and Herzegovina quickly gained the attention of the international community. European powers, already concerned about the situation in the Ottoman Empire, watched the events unfold with great interest. The Ottomans faced a difficult challenge in trying to quell the rebellion. Their military, though large, was outdated and poorly equipped compared to European standards. Serbia and Montenegro, two small Balkan nations with their own ambitions for independence, saw an opportunity in the uprising. They provided support to the rebels, sending arms, supplies, and volunteers across the border. For Serbia and Montenegro, this was a chance to weaken the Ottomans and potentially expand their own territories. However, they also risked provoking a larger conflict with the Ottoman Empire. The uprising in Bosnia and Herzegovina marked a turning point. It exposed the weakness of the Ottoman Empire and emboldened nationalist movements in the Balkans. The conflict soon escalated, drawing Serbia and Montenegro into a direct confrontation with the Ottoman Empire. The stage was set for a wider war that would have significant consequences for the region and beyond. The uprising in Bosnia and Herzegovina fueled the flames of nationalism in Serbia and Montenegro. Both countries had long sought to liberate their fellow Slavs from Ottoman rule and saw an opportunity to advance their own interests. Public opinion in both countries strongly favored supporting the rebels. On June 30, 1876, Serbia, under the rule of Prince Milan Obrenović, declared war on the Ottoman Empire. Montenegro, led by Prince Nikola Petrović Njegos, followed suit the next day. Both countries hoped for a swift and decisive victory, believing that the Ottoman Empire was too weak to resist their combined forces. However, they underestimated the challenges ahead. The Serbian army, though larger than Montenegro's, was still relatively small and ill-equipped. It lacked modern weaponry and experienced leadership. Montenegro, on the other hand, had a small but experienced fighting force accustomed to the mountainous terrain. Both countries faced the daunting task of confronting a numerically superior Ottoman army. The declarations of war by Serbia and Montenegro marked the beginning of the Serbo-Turkish War. It signaled the expansion of the conflict beyond the borders of Bosnia and Herzegovina. The war would become a test of strength for the Balkan nations and a defining moment in the struggle for Balkan independence. The initial phase of the Serbo-Turkish War did not go well for Serbia. The Serbian army, plagued by logistical problems and poor leadership, suffered a series of defeats against the Ottoman forces. The Ottomans, despite their overall weakness, were able to concentrate their forces and repel the Serbian advances. One of the key factors that hampered the Serbian war effort was the lack of unity among their commanders. Internal divisions and rivalries prevented effective coordination and led to costly mistakes on the battlefield. The Ottomans, on the other hand, benefited from a more centralized command structure The terrain also proved to be a significant challenge for the Serbian army. The mountainous regions along the border made it difficult to maneuver large units and provided ample opportunities for the Ottomans to launch ambushes and defensive operations. The Serbian troops, many of whom were inexperienced conscripts, struggled to adapt to the harsh conditions. As the Serbian army faced setbacks, public opinion began to shift. Initial enthusiasm for the war gave way to disillusionment and criticism of the government's handling of the conflict. The defeats exposed the limitations of the Serbian military and raised doubts about the country's ability to achieve its objectives against the Ottoman Empire. Section 5. Montenegrin successes in the mountains. While Serbia struggled against the Ottomans, Montenegro achieved notable successes in the early stages of the war. The Montenegrin army, though smaller in number, was well suited for warfare in the mountainous terrain. Their knowledge of the local geography and their experience in guerrilla tactics gave them a distinct advantage. The Montenegrins focused their efforts on capturing Ottoman-held towns and fortresses in the mountainous regions along their border. Their victories, often achieved against larger Ottoman forces, boosted morale and demonstrated their determination to fight for their independence. One of Montenegro's most significant victories came at the Battle of Vučji Do, where they decisively defeated an Ottoman army twice their size. This victory not only secured their position in the war, but also bolstered their reputation as fierce and skilled warriors. The Montenegrin successes had a significant impact on the course of the war. Their victories diverted Ottoman forces away from the Serbian front, providing some relief to the struggling Serbian army. Furthermore, their victories inspired other Balkan peoples seeking independence, demonstrating that the Ottoman Empire was not invincible. Section 6. Russia intervenes. The tide turns. As the Serbo-Turkish War raged, the European powers watched closely, concerned about the potential for a wider conflict. Russia, with its long-standing interest in the Balkans and its role as a protector of Slavic peoples, was particularly sympathetic to the Serbian cause. Public opinion in Russia strongly supported intervention on behalf of Serbia. Pan-Slavic sentiment, which advocated for the unity of all Slavic peoples, was widespread in Russian society. The Tsar, Alexander II, faced mounting pressure to act and prevent a decisive Ottoman victory. In April 1877, Russia declared war on the Ottoman Empire, marking a turning point in the conflict. The Russian army, far larger and better equipped than the Ottoman forces, posed a much greater threat. The entry of Russia into the war shifted the balance of power in favor of Serbia and Montenegro. The Russian intervention had immediate consequences. The Ottoman Empire, already struggling to contain the Serbian and Montenegrin forces, now faced a formidable enemy on its northern border. The war expanded, with fighting spreading to the Caucasus and the eastern Mediterranean. The Serbo-Turkish War became intertwined with a larger conflict between Russia and the Ottoman Empire. Section 7. Treaty of San Stefano and the Congress of Berlin. The Russian intervention proved decisive. The Russian army advanced rapidly into Ottoman territory, inflicting heavy defeats on the Ottoman forces. By January 1878, the Russians had reached the outskirts of Constantinople, the Ottoman capital. The Ottoman Empire was on the verge of collapse. Faced with imminent defeat, the Ottoman Empire sued for peace. The Treaty of San Stefano, signed on March 3, 1878, ended the Russo-Turkish War. The treaty included provisions favorable to Russia and its allies in the Balkans, including Serbia and Montenegro. The Treaty of San Stefano, however, proved to be short-lived. The other European powers, particularly Great Britain and Austria-Hungary, were alarmed by the expansion of Russian influence in the Balkans. They feared that the treaty would upset the balance of power in Europe and lead to further instability. In order to revise the Treaty of San Stefano, the European powers convened the Congress of Berlin in June 1878. The Congress, dominated by the interests of the great powers, redrew the map of the Balkans, significantly reducing the gains made by Russia and its allies. Despite the revisions made at the Congress of Berlin, the Serbo-Turkish War had a profound impact on Serbia. The war, though costly in terms of human life and resources, ultimately achieved its main objective: independence from the Ottoman Empire. The Treaty of Berlin formally recognized Serbia's independence, ending centuries of Ottoman rule. Serbia's territory also expanded with the addition of the regions of Nis, Piro and Toplica. These territorial gains, though less than what Serbia had hoped for, significantly increased its size and population. The war also had a profound impact on Serbian national identity. The struggle against the Ottoman Empire fostered a sense of unity and patriotism among the Serbian people. The war heroes and their sacrifices became part of national mythology, inspiring future generations. Serbia's independence, however, came at a price. The war left the country deeply in debt and its infrastructure in ruins. The loss of life was significant and the economy was devastated. Rebuilding the country and establishing a stable and independent government would be a daunting task. Montenegro, like Serbia, emerged from the Serbo-Turkish War as a victor. The Treaty of Berlin recognized Montenegro's independence, which it had effectively maintained for centuries, and granted it significant territorial gains. Montenegro's territory more than doubled in size with the acquisition of the regions of Nikšić, Bar, Ulcinj and Podgorica. These acquisitions gave Montenegro access to the Adriatic Sea, enhancing its strategic importance and economic potential. The war also brought international recognition to Montenegro. The small Balkan nation, once largely unknown in European capitals, gained respect for its fierce resistance against the Ottoman Empire. Prince Nicola I, who had led his country to victory, emerged as a respected figure on the European stage. Montenegro's emergence as an independent and expanded state had a significant impact on the balance of power in the Balkans. It created a new actor in the region, one that would play a role in future conflicts and alliances. The Serbo-Turkish War marked a significant turning point in the decline of the Ottoman Empire. The war exposed the Ottoman military's weakness and its inability to maintain control over its Balkan territories. The defeat also further damaged the empire's already tarnished prestige. The war also fueled the rise of Balkan nationalism. The successes of Serbia and Montenegro in their struggle against the Ottoman Empire inspired other Balkan peoples seeking independence. The war demonstrated that the Ottoman Empire was not invincible and that independence was achievable. The rise of Balkan nationalism, however, would also prove to be a source of instability in the region. The newly independent Balkan states, with their competing territorial claims and national aspirations, would often find themselves at odds with each other. The seeds of future conflicts were sown in the aftermath of the Serbo-Turkish War. The war's legacy is complex and multifaceted. It marked the decline of a once mighty empire and the rise of new nation-states in the Balkans. It also unleashed forces of nationalism that would shape the region's destiny for decades to come. The Serbo-Turkish War of 1876 to 1878, though often overshadowed by later conflicts, was a pivotal event in Balkan history. It marked a turning point in the decline of the Ottoman Empire and the rise of Balkan nationalism. The war's legacy continues to shape the region today. The war's most immediate consequence was the emergence of Serbia and Montenegro as independent states. Their victories against the Ottoman Empire inspired other Balkan peoples seeking liberation from Ottoman rule. The war paved the way for the Balkan Wars of 1912 to 1913, which further reduced Ottoman possessions in Europe. The war also had a profound impact on the relationship between the great powers. Russia's intervention on behalf of Serbia and Montenegro heightened tensions with Austria-Hungary, which feared the growth of Slavic nationalism in the Balkans. These tensions would contribute to the outbreak of World War I. The legacy of the Serbo-Turkish War is complex and multifaceted. It was a struggle for independence, a testament to the power of nationalism, and a harbinger of future conflicts. The war's events continue to resonate in the Balkans, shaping the region's political landscape and national identities.